Welcome back to Mom Bombs, the podcast that takes an honest look at the joys and challenges of motherhood. I am your host, Megan Short. I do apologize. I still have some kind of cold going on that I'm investigating, so I don't normally sound like, a frog or clearing my throat or coughing, so I apologize. I do know that it hasn't been quite a week since my first episode, but everyone I talk to says you should post another episode following your introduction episode, which was pretty short, so here we are. Today's episode, I want to talk about my oldest child, Karina. She just finished high school and is waiting for graduation, which is only a few days away. It just makes me feel old, but I'm super proud of her. This amazing girl is also graduating with honors. I mean, I could never. I'm not that book smart. She definitely got that from her dad. She recently turned 18, but she still lives at home until she goes to college in August. So that's going to be super fun for her. Obviously, I'm going to miss her. I could not be more proud and amazed of how far she has come in the 18 years that she's been alive. She is super smart, but super stubborn, beautiful, and funny, yet sarcastic. She's very bossy, which she gets from me, and isn't always a bad thing. She's very opinionated, which again, she gets from me. She literally looks like me when I was younger, like we're almost twins. But most of all, I have to say that she is my hero. This is a tough topic for me because of what's going to come next. It just makes me kind of emotional, so bear with me. She is 1 in 100 babies that were born with congenital heart disease. There isn't anything particular that causes it, and she was diagnosed with it when I was about 5 months pregnant. We went in to find out the gender of the baby, and when they told us that she was going to be a girl, they also said that something didn't quite look right with her heart, so we had to go see a cardiologist, and they had diagnosed her while I was pregnant. I am so thankful for the way technology is nowadays, because they were able to diagnose her when I was pregnant. So I couldn't even imagine decades ago when that wasn't a thing, and she would have just been born and we had no idea, and she might not have made it. So when she was born at U of M Hospital, they were able to take the steps to help her survive because they were prepared. She had 3 open heart surgeries before she was 3 years old, which obviously is just super amazing. I mean, she's been through more things as a kid than a lot of adults have had to go through. Her diagnosis is kind of complicated to explain, but basically she was born with half of a heart. She had to have a heart catheter done when she was 9 years old, because her oxygen levels had kind of dropped, and then she had to have another one again when she was 15 for the same reason. Those are quite less invasive as open heart surgery, but it's still a lot to go through for a kid. She does also have hypothyroid, which is from her dad's side of the family, but it is pretty well regulated with medication. It's kind of scary sometimes because if she doesn't take her meds, she could gain weight, and I just worry because obviously if you weigh too much, then it's a lot of work on your heart. The type of heart surgery she had, it's also very common for kids to have issues with their liver as they get older, but for now there doesn't seem to be any issues, so that's good. We're waiting for them to do an ultrasound sometime in the next few months, just to kind of check in and see how that looks. I just hope that she never needs a heart transplant. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I'm really battling this cold. It's just 2 months going here and still trying to figure out with the doctors what's going on. I promise I don't have COVID. back to the story. She has gone through more health issues than anyone I've ever met. Like, that's just personally, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that go through worse, but people that I actually know, she's been through so much. She is definitely a fighter. She's strong and determined. I guess that's why I become a helicopter mom. Don't judge me. Because at the age of 19, almost 20, when she was born, I really had to be protective of her. And then, of course, I became very protective over all of my kids. It was kind of like ingrained into me, and just, it was hard to just turn off. But I don't really have any regrets. I mean, protecting my kids is number one, especially in the world that we live in. There's so much going on, and keeping them safe is most important to me. I know that she's going to do great in life, so that's not something I'm really I'm not concerned with her not knowing what to do in life. I don't really know how to word it. I trust her. I just don't trust the world around her. And I just really hope that I raised her to kind of know what to keep an eye out for. But I do trust her as a kid. I know that my kids don't understand that. They think I don't trust them, but I know you moms out there, you get it. It's not that you don't trust your kids. You just don't trust literally everyone else. So I hope that's something she can understand is, if she has kids or when she has kids, that she can understand where I'm coming from, that all of my kids can understand why I was so protective. But we'll see. Sorry, I'm getting so emotional doing this because, she's my oldest and she's my baby. And I was so sad when I found out about her heart condition, because you just never know. There's so many different kids that they're just so different, and sometimes they don't make it, and sometimes they have really serious conditions that go with it, neurologically. So it's a really hard topic for me to talk about. It's scary, and I know there's other moms out there that have kids with the same condition, so I'm just thankful that she is where she is. And I don't take that for granted, at all. I do worry that she's going to remember to take her medications every day. But I have to trust her as an adult. I'm sure I'll probably text her and say, hey, did you take your medication today? Don't forget. And, is she going to remember to fill her medications on time? Is she going to make sure that she schedules her doctor's appointments? Is she going to be able to have health insurance, because she really needs that for all of her health stuff? These are all things that I worried about, as she got older and as she got closer to adulthood. There are 100 questions going through my head, because she's not just any kid. To be honest, I'm not really sure what is harder, worrying about your kids growing up and trying to protect them, or becoming an adult and you can only do so much to protect them. I can't speak on being a boy mom, but, and bear with me here, no judgment, I do feel that the world is a bit more dangerous for females than it is for males. I'm not saying that males don't go through changes in life or have things that come up, but if you have males walking alone at night, or you have females walking alone at night, who is more likely to be attacked or kidnapped? It's scary. But again, I am not saying that males don't deal with things, but it's definitely more dangerous sometimes for females. I'm so sorry, excuse me. I mean, you have females that go out to parties or bars or big group gatherings, and you have to worry about people drugging their drinks. And that's crazy and scary. And I know I probably sound crazy, super overprotective, ridiculous, but the reality is our world is not safe. I mean, to be honest, our world fucking sucks. I mean, I can't speak directly on other countries, of course, but our country is bullshit. Let's just be honest. I mean, I do hope that she doesn't think she can't call me for anything that she needs. Like, I will literally drop everything and come be by her side or help her if she is somewhere she doesn't feel safe. Like, literally all of that. I'm there. I'm not going anywhere. It's just, I just wish I felt better about her being alone. But again, that just comes with not trusting anybody else, not that I don't trust her. And I mean, I was going to say something, but I don't want to sound like super crazy. So my sister had bought her some mace, which makes me feel better, but like, I'm being so paranoid here, but I'm like, what if she sprays herself in the face or she can't figure out how to like get it open when she needs to? And I know that sounds stupid because I'm sure it's not rocket science to use mace, but I swear that would be some shit that I would do to myself in a situation. Like, I would probably spray myself in the face or not be able to get it open. I know, I'm crazy. I'm so sorry. I only hope that she doesn't think she had the worst childhood growing up. I mean, I know that we weren't perfect parents and we definitely had our faults and made our mistakes, but we try to always make sure our kids are happy and healthy and taken care of. We haven't always been in the most financially stable situations, but there were times when we were doing okay. Just circumstances change and, you know, life happens. You can't control everything. You know, you get a job thinking you're going to have it forever and it doesn't work out that way. So I try not to judge people in those situations because I have no idea what's going on in their life. Like, people always say, oh, don't have kids if you can't afford them and blah, blah, blah. But like, things change. I mean, I could plan on being rich my whole life and something happened and that gets taken away. You just don't know. So try not to judge people. Like, I don't know. I mean, COVID happened, for example, and like, you know, I lost a job and I got another good job, but then that didn't work out. And like, I don't know. I just feel like I am a failure as a parent because I got to do a lot of cool stuff when I was a kid because of my dad. And we couldn't really do a lot of cool stuff. Not as cool as like what we did with him, but I think we did a pretty good job. I mean, it could have been better, but I just hope that they had some fun growing up. I do want to, like, I guess that leads me into another thing because, you know, I know it's about moms and, you know, mom bombs and all that, but I just want to say, like, because of that, like, doing things as a kid, I do have to say my dad really did a lot of cool, fun stuff for us, and he passed away over a year ago, and it's been really hard, and, you know, with Karina's graduation coming up and her turning 18, like, he would have been so proud of her and just really supportive of her, and I don't know, just really makes me miss him. But we'll get into more of that, you know, later on in another episode. So, you know, I do want to get back to Karina, but I know he would be proud of her for sure. And my mom would be so proud of her. She's in a nursing home. She has dementia pretty bad, and Karina loves to go visit her, which is awesome. The other kids, you know, they're kind of on the fence. It's kind of hard to like watch her not remember you or forget whose kid you are. But I know she would be super proud of Karina if she got to go and see her graduation and her turn 18 and just do all of these things, and it just makes me sad. But we'll elaborate on all of that in another episode before I start crying. But I do hope that if or when Karina decides to have kids, that she learns from, the mistakes that I've made, or, that me and her dad have made as parents, and sorry, that she does things different with her kids, because, that's what I did with my kids. I learned from what happened when I was growing up, and, what my parents did or didn't do. They weren't perfect, but I feel like in their minds, they did their best. Like, they weren't bad parents or anything like that, but, I think that's what we all try to do. I think we all try to learn from how we grew up and, like, do better for our kids, and give them a different childhood. I mean, I definitely wish I could have gone and done things different and better than what I did, but obviously if I could preview the mistakes I was going to make, I wouldn't make them. Karina is such a very maternal person. Like, I know they say the oldest is always like the third parent, and I guess that's kind of true. I mean, I don't think we purposely sought out and were like, hey, let's, have more than one kid so they can parent the other ones. Like, that's not something you kind of like, it's not a goal in life. That's not what comes to mind, or at least not for me. I mean, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but, that's not the case here. I was actually had a lot of scary thoughts about having more kids because, I, for a long time, felt like Karina's heart condition was my fault, but it's not. But, like, I was like, what if I have more kids and, like, that happens with them? And then, I don't know. It's kind of weird and hard to explain, but that was my thought process. So, but I think that she'll be a really good mom if she ever decides to have kids, just because she's so maternal and she's going to learn from the things that we did or didn't do. And it just, I don't know. She, at this time, doesn't want to have kids. And I don't know if that's because she's concerned about her heart condition and having kids, but I do know that there are, like, other heart moms that have had kids, and their kids have had kids, and it just, she can have kids. She's just going to have to talk about it, with her cardiologist before she does things like that. So, but she would be a really good mom, I feel like. I really hope that she knows I will always be there for her no matter what, like, day, night, no matter what time. Just because you're 18 and you move out, like, I've lived my entire life for my kids, and sometimes they're my best friends. And I know you're supposed to separate, like, being a parent and being best friends. You're supposed to parent your kids and blah, blah, blah. But, like, I was young when I had kids, so I'm still kind of in that young person mindset, I guess. But I do want to say that there are going to be, like, other things that come up, other topics that involve Karina. This isn't the only time you'll ever hear about her. But I kind of want to, like, introduce each of my kids in their own episode and just kind of, like, elaborate on who they are and things that I've dealt with, more of, like, a one-on-one with them, more specifically to them. So, there's going to be more episodes to come with her in it. Maybe I can talk her into co-hosting on an episode. I'm really trying, but we will see. She's kind of shy, but she does love to talk, so we will see how that goes. No promises. I do want to apologize again. Here I go for the coughing and all of that. Like, if I waited until I was better to do my podcast, I mean, I've already been sick for 2 months. It could be months from now. So We all get sick sometimes, so I'm hoping you'll just kind of bear with me and be understanding, and I apologize. Sorry. But, this is what you get. You get a real podcast, and this is what it is. I'm a real person. This is the episode you're going to get. So, mistakes and all. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mom Bombs. Be sure to follow to stay up to date on new episodes, and we'll see you next time. Follow me on Instagram at Mom Bombs Podcast. It's MOM_BOMBS_PODCAST. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.